Hey everyone, welcome back to another chilling video. You guys are the best, always showing up for these creepy tales, and tonight, I've got something special for you. 3 true horror stories that'll make you rethink what it means to be home alone. If you've ever felt that eerie vibe when the house is too quiet, like something's watching from the shadows, you're in for a ride. These stories come from real people, and trust me, they hit hard. So grab a blanket, lock your doors, and let's dive in. You ever notice how a house feels different when you're alone? Like it's holding its breath, waiting for something to break the silence? That's how it was that weekend last October. I was 17, living in a sleepy suburb outside Chicago. My parents had left for a work conference, leaving me with the house all to myself. I was thrilled. No rules, just me, a stack of horror movies, and a fridge full of junk food. Our place was typical. 2 stories, creaky stairs, a front door that always stuck. Nothing special, nothing creepy. At least that's what I thought. It was Friday night. Around 2 a.m., I was sprawled on the couch, half asleep. The Conjuring blared on the TV. The room was lit only by the flickering screen, casting long shadows across the walls. Outside, a storm was rolling in. Wind rattled the windows. Then the power flickered. The TV froze. Static hissed. The room fell into this eerie half-light. I cursed under my breath, figuring the storm had tripped something. That's when I heard it. Knock, knock, knock. 3 slow, heavy knocks on the front door. My heart stopped. It was 3 a.m. Nobody visits at 3 a.m. Not in a neighborhood where everyone's asleep by 10. I sat there frozen. The remote slipped from my hand. The wind howled. But the knocks weren't random. They were deliberate, like someone was testing the door. I waited, held my breath, prayed it was nothing. Silence. Maybe it was a branch, or some idiot kid pulling a prank. I grabbed my phone to text Jake. No signal, no bars. That was weird. Our Wi-Fi was usually rock solid. I crept to the living room window, my socks silent on the hardwood, pulled back the blinds, scanned the street. Empty. Just the faint glow of streetlights flickering in the rain. Reflections pooling on the wet pavement. No cars, no people. I let out a shaky breath, told myself I was overreacting. Then it came again. Knock, knock, knock. Louder this time, like someone pounding with a fist. My stomach twisted. I checked the front door. Deadbolt locked. Chain still on. I grabbed a baseball bat from the hall closet. My hands were sweaty, slipping on the grip. Who's there? No answer, just the hum of the fridge kicking on. Suddenly it felt too loud. I stood there, bat raised, every nerve on edge. The storm raged. Thunder rolled in the distance. I was about to head back to the couch when I heard it. Creak, a single deliberate creak from upstairs, like a footstep. I hadn't been upstairs all night. The house was supposed to be empty. My parents were gone. My little brother was at a sleepover. Another creak, slower this time, like someone shifting their weight. This isn't funny. Silence, then a whisper. So faint I thought I imagined it. Tyler, my name, hissed like a breath. Coming from the top of the stairs, my legs turned to jelly. I backed away, bat trembling in my hands. The air felt heavy, like someone was watching me. Another creak, then another. Footsteps, coming down. I ran to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, stood at the bottom of the stairs, staring into the darkness. Show yourself. Nothing, just the wind. I don't know how long I stood there. Knife in one hand, bat in the other. Heart pounding so loud it hurt. The footsteps stopped, but the silence was worse. It felt alive. I checked my phone again. Still dead. The room was black, only a faint glow from the streetlight behind the blinds. I crept back to the front door, checked the locks. Then I saw it. The chain. It was undone. I hadn't touched it. Panic slammed into me. I fumbled the chain back on, hands shaking, backed away, scanned the room. It looked empty, but the air felt wrong. I grabbed a flashlight, swept through the house, every room, every corner. Nothing. I was alone, or so I thought. Around 4 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. Not the front door, the back door, the one in the kitchen, the one that leads to the yard. My heart sank. I hadn't checked the backyard. I crept to the kitchen window, flashlight shaking in my hand, peered out. The rain had stopped, yard dark and still. But there, at the edge of the grass, just beyond the porch light, a shape, tall, still, a person standing in the shadows. I couldn't see their face, but I could feel their eyes. I stumbled back, dropped the flashlight. The knocking came again, faster now, desperate. I ran to the back door. It was locked, but the handle jiggled, like someone was testing it. "Get out of here!" The jiggling stopped. Silence. By 5 a.m., I was a wreck, curled up on the couch, clutching the knife in the bat. I didn't sleep. When the sun rose, I finally went outside, checked the yard. Nothing. No footprints, no signs of anyone. I called the cops, told them someone tried to break in. They searched the house, top to bottom, nothing. No forced doors, no broken locks. But they found something upstairs in the hallway, in a thin layer of dust. Footprints, bare feet, small, like a child's, leading from the top of the stairs to my bedroom and stopping at my bed. They couldn't explain it. Neither could I. My parents came home early. We never talked about it. They never left me alone again. Some nights, I still hear those knocks, still feel those eyes, and I wonder, who knew my name? Because whoever it was, they weren't outside. They were already in the house. Moving to a new house is supposed to feel like a fresh start, right? Not this one. When I was 15, my family packed up and moved to this old, creaky house in upstate New York. It was a fixer-upper, cheap, because no one else wanted it. Warped floors, rattling windows, faint smell of mildew that never went away. I hated it. But the worst part was my bedroom. It had this massive mirror, floor to ceiling, bolted to the wall like it was part of the house itself. Something about it felt wrong, like it was staring at me. I'd catch myself avoiding it at night, keeping the lights on just to feel safe. My mom thought I was being a drama queen, but I wasn't so sure. One winter, my parents left for a couple of days to visit my grandma, leaving me alone in that drafty house. I was stoked at first. No chores, no lectures. Just me, a pizza, and my PlayStation. That first night, I stayed up way too late, blasting through Call of Duty until my eyes burned. Around 1 a.m., I dragged myself to bed, flicked on my bedroom light. That's when I saw it, in the mirror behind my reflection. A shadow, not mine. It was taller, thinner, with arms that hung too low, moving just a fraction slower than I did. I spun around. My heart slammed against my ribs. Nothing. Just my messy room. Sneakers on the floor, posters peeling off the walls. I looked back at the mirror. The shadow was gone. I laughed, but it was forced. Too many Red Bulls, I told myself. Still, I grabbed a blanket from my bed, draped it over the mirror, tucked it tight so it wouldn't fall. No way was I sleeping with that thing uncovered. I crawled into bed, left the light on, tried to shake the unease crawling up my spine. The house was quiet, just the occasional groan of pipes, and the wind howling outside. I drifted off, telling myself it was nothing. I woke up at 3:33 a.m. The room was freezing, like someone had opened a window. My breath fogged in the air. The blanket was on the floor, crumpled in a heap. The mirror was uncovered, glinting in the moonlight streaming through the curtains. And there it was, the shadow. Closer now, standing right behind my reflection. Its head was tilted, like it was studying me. My reflection smiled, a slow, unnatural grin. I wasn't smiling. I couldn't move. My body felt heavy, pinned to the bed. The air thickened, like someone was breathing down my neck. Then a sound, slow, deliberate scratches, like nails dragging across glass. It was coming from the mirror. My eyes darted to the surface, and I saw them. Faint, jagged lines forming in the glass, like someone was carving from the other side. The shadow's head tilted further, unnaturally far, and my reflection's smile widened, showing too many teeth. I snapped out of it, stumbled out of bed, tripped over the blanket. My bare feet hit the cold floor. I ran, slamming the bedroom door behind me. I didn't stop until I was downstairs, locked myself in the bathroom, the only room without a mirror. I sat on the tile, hugging my knees, until the sun came up. My phone was in my room, so I couldn't call anyone. All I could do was wait, listening for any sound from upstairs. The house was silent, but it wasn't empty. I felt it. When morning came, I crept back to my room, heart pounding. The mirror was normal, no scratches, no shadow. The blanket was still on the floor, exactly where I tripped over it. But my bedroom door, which I had slammed shut, it was wide open. And on the inside, carved into the wood in uneven, jagged letters, was one word: look. My stomach lurched. I hadn't heard anyone in the house. I hadn't heard the door open, stayed out of my room all day, camped on the couch, jumped at every creak. That night I tried sleeping downstairs, but I kept hearing it. Faint scratches, like nails on glass, coming from upstairs. I didn't go check. I couldn't. When my parents got home, I told them everything. They didn't believe me, said I was stressed, imagining things. But my dad noticed the carving on the door. He didn't say much, just sanded it down and painted over it. We moved out a month later. The new owners didn't keep that mirror. They said it gave them the creeps. I don't know what it was, but I know it wasn't my imagination. Sometimes, when I'm alone at night, I feel it, that same weight, like something's waiting for me to look too long in the dark. I keep my mirrors covered now, just in case. Living alone at 19 isn't as cool as it sounds. My apartment in Atlanta was a dump. Cracked walls, a leaky faucet, and neighbors who blasted music at 3 a.m. But it was mine, and I was proud of it. Just me and my cat, Rusty, scraping by on ramen and minimum wage. One muggy summer night, I was home alone, sprawled on the couch, scrolling through TikTok. Rusty curled up next to me. The AC was busted, so the windows were open, letting in the hum of cicadas and the occasional car horn. It was a normal night until Rusty froze. His ears twitched. He stared at the front door, hissing like he'd seen something I couldn't. His fur puffed up, tail flicking. I laughed, thinking he'd spotted a roach. "Chill, dude," I said, scratching his head. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. No caller ID. It was 11 p.m. Late for a random call, I figured it was my coworker, forgetting to save his number. So I answered. Static crackled, loud enough to make me wince. Then a voice, low, raspy, like they'd smoked a pack a day, said, "Check the door." The call dropped. My skin prickled. I glanced at the front door. Locked. Chain on. Rusty was still hissing, his eyes locked on it like it was about to burst open. I told myself it was a prank, some creep with a burner phone. But my hands were shaking as I set the phone down. I got up, double-checked the deadbolt. It was secure, but the air felt off, like the room was holding its breath. Rusty wouldn't move, growling low, his claws digging into the couch. 10 minutes later, the phone rang again. Same number. I stared at it, my thumb hovering over decline. The ringing was relentless, piercing, like it wouldn't stop until I answered. I picked up, my voice tight. "Who is this?" More static. Then the voice slower, colder. "Check the door." My heart was hammering. "Stop messing with me," I snapped. No response. The line went dead. I checked every window, every lock, front door, back door, even the fire escape. Everything was secure. Rusty stayed by the door, yowling now, like he was warning me. I tried to calm down, blasted music to drown out the silence. But at midnight, the phone rang a third time. My nerves were shot. I didn't want to answer, but the sound was driving me crazy, echoing in the tiny apartment. I grabbed it, shouted, "What do you want?" The voice was louder now, almost desperate. and it said something that made my blood run cold. "It's inside, Matt." My name. I'd never told anyone my name. I dropped the phone. The screen cracked on the floor. Rusty bolted under the couch, hissing like a banshee. Then I heard it. A heavy thump from the bedroom, like something fell off a shelf. My apartment was small. Living room, kitchen, one bedroom. I'd been in every room. No one was here. My mouth went dry. I grabbed a kitchen knife and a flashlight, my hands shaking so bad I could barely hold them. "Who's there?" I called, my voice barely above a whisper. No answer, just another thump. Softer, like someone was moving. I crept to the bedroom, the flashlight beam shaking across the walls. The air felt heavy, like I was walking through fog. The room was dark, curtains drawn. I scanned every corner. Bed, dresser, closet, nothing. Then under the bed, a glint. I knelt down, shined the light. A boot, a man's boot, scuffed and muddy, not mine. My heart stopped. I scrambled back. The knife slipped from my hand. Another thump, this time from the closet. The door was cracked open, just an inch, but I hadn't left it like that. I didn't think. I ran, grabbed my phone and keys, fumbled with the front door's chain. As I yanked it open, the phone rang again. Still on the floor where I dropped it, the screen lit up, that same number glowing. I didn't answer. I sprinted to the neighbor's apartment, banged on their door until they let me in, their dog barking like crazy. I called the cops, my voice shaking as I told them someone was in my apartment. They searched the place, top to bottom. The boot was gone. No footprints, no signs of a break-in. But they found scratches on the inside of my bedroom window. Deep, like someone had clawed at it from the inside. The window was locked, no way to open it without a key. The cops had no answers. Neither did I. I moved out the next week, crashed with a friend until I could find a new place. That number still calls sometimes, always late at night. I never pick up. But sometimes when I'm alone, I hear Rusty's hiss in my head, and I wonder what was in that apartment with me.
Thanks for watching. Comment below which story do you like out of them threes.